do feature engineering and find out which are the most appropriate features that you can pick up from those 10 patients, and that will give better performance. Because as you are lacking in terms of data, then it will become very difficult to take care or make a classifier or train a classifier or regressor that take care all the features. If you want to take care all the features, you require more and more data. Then again, many times it is also possible like we are lacking in terms of computational resources, right? So these all things come into the picture when you have huge number of features and all the features are not important, or they are redundant in the nature, or sometimes lack of data also comes into the picture, right? So how we'll find the best feature? So there are two different techniques. One is the feature selection technique and second is the feature extraction technique. So what exactly in feature selection? Let's say we have feature x1, x2, x3, x4 and x5. Suppose we have these features. So out of these features we are selecting few features. So let's say out of these features we have selected, let's say x2, x3, x4. So these are most appropriate features for our classifier. So this is known as feature selection. You are not changing the features, but you are selecting few features out of the bigger number, right? So these techniques or this kind of method is known as feature selection method. Now in case of feature extraction, what we are doing, we are changing the you can say the representation itself, or you can say from higher dimensional feature space to go to the lower dimensional feature space. So how exactly this will look like? Suppose we have features x1, x2, x3, x4 and x5, right? Now what we want to represent this. So if you have 5 features, means you can say you have 5 dimensional features available with us. Suppose you want to plot a graph for these 5 features, so you require all together, then you require 5 dimensional graph. So in that case means you are representing a data in 5 different dimensions. What we can do in case of feature injection, you can create a new variety of features, or you can extract the information, extract the features, and you re-represent in a different format. So let's say we are representing z1, z2 and z3, right? So now you are converting 5 dimensional to 3 dimensional. This is known as feature extraction. Extraction means you are taking most important information from those features and creating new features from that. That is feature extraction. What is feature selection? You have already n number of features. Out of those n features, you are selecting some m features where m is less than n. So this is feature selection. Any doubt till this point? Anyone? What is
No, sir.
selection? What is extraction?
So generally, features selection is followed by feature extraction.
It's all, it is not always compulsory. Yes, we can use both of them, but many times it happens if you have very vast variety of features, first you do some extraction, then you out of those features again you try to selection. So both are coming together, or sometimes you are only deal with the feature selection, or sometimes you are only deal with the feature extraction. So it depends upon the problem itself. Means there is no straightforward rule for that.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Any doubt, guys? Anyone?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Cool. So now, so what is feature selection? So let's talk about feature selection, then we'll talk about feature extraction. So in case of feature selection, this is a kind of optimization problem. If you look into the feature selection, it is a optimization problem, right? So what optimization we are talking about? So we are saying we have to find out the features, those features where either accuracy will improve or maintain the accuracy, right? So that is the way how you can deal with the feature selection. On the same time, reduce the model complexity. So you have to reduce the model complexity. How it will reduce? Automatically, if you have, for example, if you have 100 features in the initial time, and if you selected out of 100 you have selected only 60 features, so or you can say you have selected only 50 features, it means your model complexity is reduced by 50%, because now you do not need to deal with those 50 features. Your model complexity automatically reduced, but in the same time you have to maintain the accuracy. Either you maintain the original accuracy, or if few features are actually degrading the performance, then accuracy can be improved. So this is the entire process of feature selection. So let's say, is really this is a complex problem? Yes, this is a really big complex problem. Why? So if you have, for example, if you have 5,000 features, then the feature space, the selection space will become very big, right? So it's, for example, you have D initial feature space, or you can say D number of features in the initial. So you have to do the D combination that is available with us. So we cannot go with these all possibilities. So we need some heuristic. Now once this heuristic comes into the picture, heuristic means, so in general, heuristic means this is the support to you can say this is the support matrix that will help you to reduce the search space, or you can say this will help you to find out the best feature in faster pace. This is the, that is known as the heuristic, right? Heuristic is like you can find out heuristic algorithms as well. So there are various heuristic algorithms where some formulation or some technique will support to find out the best feature or best output in a bigger space. When we say bigger space means, suppose you have D equal to 1000, right? So in that case you have a feature space. So your number of features are 1000, then you have a feature space, or you can say feature combination of feature space is 2 to the power 1000. So you can say this will become very big number to search. So you require some method, or you require some way that will help you to find out a best method or close to the best, that is sometimes known as near optimal, that will give you a appropriate performance or acceptable performance. So this is like known as heuristic. So this heuristic will help you to reach to that level. Ready? So now what is in general process of this feature space? So in general, suppose you have a subset of features, like let's say you have a big feature space here. So you can say you have D number of features. Now what you will do, you will generate some subset, right? So you can say you generated n number of subsets. Now you pick one subset at a time and you will evaluate that subset. What is the performance of that subset, right? So once you dropping so many emails. Right. So in case of evaluation of subset, so how you will evaluate it? You will evaluate those subset. So for the evaluation, so for example, let me take one example. Suppose you have a feature space x1, x2, x3, x4, x5, right? And let's make, so we have made some feature space, let's say x1, x2, x3. This is one combination we are talking about. Then we say we have x2, x3, x4. This is another combination. Then we have another combination, let's say x3, x4, x5, right? So we have these three subsets that we want to test, right? So what we will do, we will pick these data. So let's say we have picked this data, then we train our model based on only these features, right? Now once we train our model, so before training on this subset, the very first step what we will do, we will pick all the features and we will train the model. So we have all the features, like you have picked all 5 features, we train our model, and definitely after training you have some accuracy, or you can say whatever your evaluation criteria. So for simplicity, let's say we have some accuracy. So let's say we found here accuracy approximate, let's say we found accuracy something, some A%. accuracy you got, right? Now what you will do, you will generate the subset. So you will generate the subset. So we have generated these subset, for example, subset 1, subset 2, subset 3. Then we will evaluate these subsets. Now for evaluation, suppose you have picked S1 subset, you train our model. So after the training, you will get some accuracy, right? Now let's say this accuracy is B% accuracy. So if B is greater than or equal to A, it means this subset is accepted. So you can say S1 subset is accepted, or you can say this is a better subset. But if B is less than A, then it is not accepted.
Sir,
Yeah, yeah. So similarly,
sir,
just let me complete it. Similarly, you will check S2 as well, and similarly you will check S3 as well, right? So please mute your mic. Yeah. So then we will check S2 as well, S3 as well. So suppose out of these you found few features like S1, S2, S3, you found only one is giving better accuracy, or maybe it is possible two are giving better accuracy. So out of these two, which one is given much better, that will be accepted as the final feature. Yeah, please mute yourself, whoever is there. Okay. Yeah. Someone was asking some doubt. Please go ahead.
सर एक तो डाउट, ये सबसेट साइज भी वैरी करेगा ना अगर हम सबसेट्स चूज करेंगे
Yes,
तो वो कैसे
definitely.
चूज करते हैं कि
So
हाफ जैसे कुछ?
I am coming on that. There is a proper procedure to select the subset.
और
This
एक
is just
डाउट और था
example. Yeah, please.
सर, जैसे हम पीछे देख रहे थे, सिर्फ एक्यूरेसी से हम नहीं बता सकते ना कि मॉडल बेटर है नहीं है, तो सिर्फ इसके लिए अपन एक्यूरेसी से कैसे बता दे रहे हैं कि ये सबसेट बेटर रहेगा?
नहीं ये this is like example of evaluation criteria, whatever evaluation we are talking about. So for example, you are taking F1 score, so you will pick first F1 score for this and then compare other F1 score for these subsets. So whatever evaluation criteria we have picked, we will compare with that. Now second, whenever you evaluate this model, whenever you calculate this accuracy is calculated on validation set, not in the test set. So whatever the validation set, this accuracy computed on validation set, and then compare. Is really we are improving the performance, or we are not improving the performance, or we are degrading the performance. If we are degrading, then definitely it is not accepted. But even if we are maintaining the same performance, means you are saving the computational resources. But if you are improving, then it means whatever we have not selected, they are degrading our classifiers or regressor performance. Getting?
Okay.
Is clear?
Yes, sir.
Cool.
सर
Yes.
एक क्वेश्चन था, सपोज आपने इसमें x4 x5 ड्रॉप कर दिया, so when we do the validation we will also drop x4 x5, but then
Definitely.
if we compare the evaluation accuracy, it will be from the influence of x1 x2 x3. We won't get any concrete information what if the influence of x4 and x5 was better or not, because since we are dropping them all together. So how do you figure out that x4 x5 will be better or not?
No. Suppose, so let's say I have, so you can say here, I have 5 features, right? Let's say x1, x2, x3, x4, x5. Now these 5 features have some validation accuracy when all together, right? So you have trained your model and you have a validation accuracy, something close to, like, let's say 80%, right? Now suppose we drop 2 of them, that according to, like, we drop x4 and x5, so we have only 3 features, and we again train the model, and we have validation accuracy of let's say with this features, like with 3 features, you have validation accuracy around 85%. So it means these 2 features are actually degrading the performance, because the first test we are doing all together, right? Getting?
Got it, sir. So,
Yeah. So any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. So
Sir,
now, yeah.
sir, the validation set for 5 features and 3 features is same, right? Same data.
Yes.
So in 3 features, we will just ignore the 2 columns. That's it. Or
Yes.
what we will.
Definitely.
Okay.
Because those, you can say those 2 columns or those 2 features is not contributing. That's why we are ignoring. Whenever we test in the whenever we do inference, and even we get 5 data, we will ignore those 2 data which are not actually correlated, or you can say not giving the positive impact on the output. So there is no need to take that data. We just drop it.
Understood, sir.
Cool. So now, so whenever you say evaluation of feature subset, there are 2 methods. One is supervised method. So that is known as the wrapper methods, and second is unsupervised method, that is known as the filter method, right? So let's understand what is these 2 methods. So whatever we talk about just in the previous slide, that is supervised method, where we have a validation set and we will estimate error, or you can say the accuracy, or whatever the evaluation criteria we will evaluate on validation set, and based on that we will say that this particular feature space is good or not. Then there is a second method, that is unsupervised method, right? So let's talk about this method as well. So as you say, this is your unsupervised method, filter method, and this is your supervised method. So in case of filter method, what we are doing, first we have the original space, original feature space. Now before, here second term is saying importance score, right? Now this importance score, so immediately come from where I will get this importance score, right? How we'll give a number to the feature, that will tell the importance score. So if you remember the linear regression, simple linear regression, what we have done in the linear regression, we have created our hypothesis, that is like a W0, X0, W1, X1, W2, X2. Now if you remember, what is the, you can say, what is the purpose of W? What is the use of W at that case? The W will give the information like which particular feature is more important, or you have to put more impact on that feature, or if W value is close to 0 means there is less impact on that feature, right? So that will give you the feature importance. So W value in case of linear regression will give you feature importance, that this feature is more important, this feature is less important. Now once you got that importance list, then what you will do, so suppose you have feature x1, x2, x3, x4, x5, right? Now with respect to these features, you have got importance in terms of weight, w1, w2, w3, w4, w5, right? Guys, just give me 1 minute. I'm coming back. Just 1 minute. Someone is there. Sorry for the interrupt. So whenever you are all alone in your home, so a lot of disturbance coming from here and there. Okay, so I was talking about the feature ranking, or you can say feature importance score. So in case of linear regression, suppose you have 5 features, so you have given weightage. So once you train the model, definitely you will get some value of W1, W2, W3, W4, right? Now, if your W value, let's say W of I, mod of W of I, mod means the, here we are talking about the, you can say the value, right, their magnitude. We are not talking about the sign here, the magnitude. If your magnitude is higher, means it is more important, right? If your magnitude is lower, it means that is less important. And if your magnitude W of I equal to 0, means that feature is not important at all, you can drop immediately. So what exactly we will do in this importance score, based on these W, we will sort it. So sorting from higher to lower, higher value to lower value. Whenever we talk about the value, means we are talking about the magnitude, we are not talking about the sign here, right? So suppose if you have some features like their W value is minus 10, and another feature where W value is 10, and another feature is W value is 5, and another feature W value is minus 4. So if you sort those features, right, then what will happen? What should be the sorting? So these two are equally important. Either you talk about this feature or this feature, these two are equally important. Second importance will come to the 5, and third importance will come to the 4, minus 4. Suppose one feature weight value is 0.01. You can say out of these 5, this is the least important feature. So you will sort it those features based on their importance. Now once you sort it, you will select top best feature. So let's say initially, suppose I have 100 features. Out of those 100 features, I have selected initially 20 features which have top importance. Then we evaluate the model and check the performance. If we see the performance is degraded, then instead of 20, we selected 30 features. Then we selected 40 features until we are not maintaining the same performance whatever achieved by 100, or if we are improving the performance, we'll continue to do that. So in that way, you can say this is the filter method. So definitely this is one way. The linear regression method is one way to look into the feature performance. There are other ways as well. So we'll discuss those in details in upcoming part, right? Then there is a wrapper method. Yeah.
Sir,
Any doubt?
in this, initially training the model with 100 features and then selecting the 20 best features, right? In the
Yes.
filter method.
Yes. 20 best means we are talking about who have maximum magnitude. You sorted based on the magnitude.
Yes, sir. So, sir, 20 वाला लेंगे तो 20 वाला लेने के बाद we'll train the model again with those selected features, right? And then evaluate the performance.
Yes. Yes.
So, sir,
Yes.
जब 20 पे train करेंगे तो won't the values of the weights change? I mean, since loss minimize करेगा, तो 20 के बाद सर वो जो 20 weights selected है वो 20 weights की value new training पे change.
हम उन 20 वेट्स को फिर कंसीडर नहीं करेंगे. हम कंसीडर हमेशा इन्हीं, जब हमने 100 पे सेलेक्ट किया था तभी उन्हीं को कंसीडर करेंगे फॉर सिलेक्टिंग मोर फीचर्स, क्योंकि उस टाइम पे हमने सबको एक साथ कंसीडर किया. वी कंसीडर ऑल टुगेदर, सो वी हैव ए रिलेशन बिटवीन ऑल टुगेदर. गेटिंग?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Any doubt? Anyone?
So
Yeah.
So how much is statistical analysis still used in practice while evaluating a model, like things like chi-square test or F-test?
Mm-hmm. So these are heavily used, and this is like really important whenever we have tabular data. Definitely if we are dealing with the image data, or you can say audio data, or you can say video data, might be not that much useful. Then definitely feature extraction methods are more useful. But if you have tabular data, or you can say some kind of CSV file, then these methods are really important. That feature selection methods are really important, and that is used heavily.
Okay, so
Yeah. So let's say suppose you have some healthcare data. where you have different values in the column, then this feature engineering is really important. And whenever you have really large amount of data and large amount of features, again these are like yeah, you can say some log file is there where different values in the log file, then also you require to do feature engineering. And this feature engineering heavily used in the data science as well, like which feature impact is more, which feature impact is less. All those things are like really important in data science as well. Okay, so let's talk about wrapper method. So we already seen the wrapper method in the previously. So we have some original features, generate a subset of the features, then train the model, check the their, you can say, their quality of the features, and this loop will go on and on unless we are like not degrading the performance compared to the original one. Whatever feature space we found, that will become the best feature space. So that is kind of recursive process. So any doubt till this point, anyone?
No, sir.
Cool. So now, in case of once we say feature selection method, so while we select those features, we have to really look into those features are more important, they are uncorrelated. Uncorrelated means their relation between one feature to another feature is comparatively less. So these features are really important. So there are two techniques to select the feature. One is the forward selection and second is the backward selection. So let's talk about both the technique. So in case of forward selection, what we are doing, we are starting with the empty feature space, right? So we have an empty feature space, then what we'll do, we will pick one feature at a time and we'll add into that space, right? So let's say initially we start with the completely empty feature, then second one we select, like in the first iteration we select the feature 1, so let's say F1, then we test it, then we select like we choose F2, we test it, then we choose, for example, we found F1, we test it. Now out of this we found, okay, F2 is giving the best performance or they have most related to the output feature. Then in the next time what we will do, F2 will be always there, then here we will find the second feature. Once we find the, so again second feature we have more space, so that will be you can say tested. Now once we find the second feature, let's say F3 we found that is the best feature, then we will look into the next feature space, and this process will continue until we are improving the performance or we are like become constant in the performance. Till that point it will like add more and more features into that feature space. Once we reach to that level, then that will become your final feature space. So that is known as the forward selection method. Any doubt on this?
So
Yeah.
rather than testing on various subsets of our features or feature space, can't we just compute the correlation of one feature to our target variable and select like top 10 or top 20 features which have the highest correlation?
Actually, whenever we are selecting the feature, so if you consider, yes, correlation from the output you are talking about, right?
Yes, sir, with a feature to target.
So that is the method while we are saying the filter method. So we have the correlation matrix related with respect to output features, and based on that correlation matrix we are selecting for top 10, top 5, top whatever we want to starting point. That is true, that we can do. So this is one method, like forward selection is saying start with the empty method and then add more and more. So this will give you like a more kind of exhaustive method. This one, forward selection. Definitely that is always there. Whenever you have some metric and based on that metric, you instead of jumping one by one, you are jumping more features at a time. That is always there. So that kind of tweaking is there. But ultimately over there also, instead of starting empty feature space, you start with the top 10 feature space. Then you are adding more. But overall, it is a forward method.
Yes, sir.
Ultimately, we are doing the forward selection method, but instead of starting, so you got one heuristic. So in that case, this you can say feature relation between output is the heuristic for you, and that heuristic will give you a significant amount of information, like which features you have to select first, which feature you have to select at the end or later on. So that heuristic will help you to select the feature in a faster speed. But ultimately, if you look into the overall process, that is the forward selection. Getting?
Yes, sir. So like even in this also we can set some kind of threshold for each feature, like how much improvement is that feature giving, and
Yes,
based on that we can
definitely.
add.
This method, what like this algorithm we are talking, this is very generalized method. Now
Yes.
there are plenty of tweaking is there, like someone is tweaking, okay, and at least this much improvement we require. If it is not there, then we will not take it. Otherwise, maybe it is possible that we should go for the underfit. So these all things comes into the picture that we need to. So this is very generalized method to do it.
So this will come under wrapped method, right?
Yes. Now that wrap method, and you can say yes, this will come under a wrap method, because here you are selecting feature space, and then based on that you are evaluating. If you add a new heuristic over there, right, then it will come to the filter method. Filter method means you can say you are selecting few feature, you can say few correlation metrics or some kind of heuristic over there to rank the feature. If you are not ranking the feature, then it is going to the wrap method. If you are ranking the features, then it will go to the filter method.
Yes, sir.
So you can say there is a clear boundary. If you feel in the beginning all features are equally important, then it is the wrap method. If you feel no, first we'll check the importance, then we'll do the analysis, then it is the filter method. Any doubt till this point? Then second one is the backward selection. What the backward selection is talking about, so you start with the full feature space and try to remove one of them at a time, whatever is the least important. So in this case, suppose you have 10 features. So what you will do, you will have all 10 features. Let me different color. So you will take all 10 features. So you can say x1, x2 till x10. Now you will remove one feature at a time. So in this case, you are not worried like which feature is important. We will exhaustively search. So first we will remove x1, then we will check the performance, then we will remove x2, check the performance, then we will remove x3, check the performance. Whichever is giving most degradation, like least, you can say whichever, whoever will give you no impact on the performance or that will improve the performance, that feature we will remove. Then we'll jump to the another one. Then we'll jump to the, until unless we are not, you can say we are not start degrading the performance. So that is the backward method. Getting? So now a quick question, which method is better, forward or backward? Or it is again depend upon the data itself? Which one will be better? Or you can say in which scenario, which one will be better? What do you think? Yes, guys.
So I guess computation-wise, forward selection should be better.
Okay.
The end result in both, I guess, will be same. Like if we have 100 like 100 features, and we have two sets, one for backward and one for forward, the end result for both will be the same set of features. But computation-wise, forward selection should be faster.
Okay. So actually, it is depend upon the condition as well. What condition we are saying? The condition is suppose we have 100 features and we have some intuition like out of 100, 90 features are important, 10 features are not important. In that case, backward selection will give you much faster performance. But suppose we have out of 100 we found okay 20 is important, 80 is not important, then forward feature selection will be giving more importance. So in that way you can deal with the problem. So sometimes it is like a more open question, like how do we get the intuition, but both are giving like at the end both are giving almost similar result, maybe not exactly same, but similar results. Getting? So these are the backward and forward selection method. Then there is a recursive feature elimination, right? So in case of recursive feature elimination, what we are doing, so this is your as I told you, this we already talked about. This is the way of filter method, where we are giving, so with the help of linear classifier we are computing all W, right, with the help of linear classifier. Now what you will do, you will remove the features with smallest Wi and we will recompute the W, right. Now in this case what we are doing, so in the previous case when we talk about, we are taking the original feature space, but here it is a different story, because here we are taking all the features together. First we have taken all the features together. Let's say we have W1, W2, W3, W4 and so on. Let's say Wn. So first you will take all the features Wn, all the features weight W till Wn. Now you sort them out. Now after the sorting you found, okay, Wn is not have the least value. So in that case what you will do, you will remove the Wn and then again retrain the your linear classifier with W1, W2 till Wn minus 1, right. Now whenever you do the second round of analysis, you will not consider this. What you will consider? You will consider the second, whatever you have computed in the second round. Now here it is possible, might be this Wm is like have least value. So you will remove the W1, Wm, and here after that you have W1, W2 till Wn minus 2. Now again, once you do the third stage of analysis, you will not consider this, you will consider new W to find out the next stage. And in that way you will continue the process until unless you are not reaching to the stopping criteria. So that is known as recursive feature elimination, and this you have found in the lab as well, where we have directly, like in the further fun you found recursive feature elimination. So that is the way how to deal with the recursive feature elimination. Getting? Any doubt on this?
Sir, but don't all these methods increase the complexity anyways, because we are reiterating the model, predicting every time with the new features?
Definitely training time will become higher and higher. Very true. Training time will become higher and higher, because instead of predicting in one go, we are selecting the feature is multiple times. Actually we are training the model multiple times. Definitely your training time will become much higher. But whenever we deal with the entire scenario, like most of the cases, there are most of the cases training time is not important as compared to inference time and the performance of model. Training time become less important. Training time will become important whenever it is like you are continuously getting the data and you are trying to train on new data, and based on that you are come up with a good result. For example, stock market. Stock market is like where training time is really very critical component, because every minute you are getting new data and you have to train your model in that data and then take the decision. So over there training time is really important. Or you can say there is a method that is known as online learning, where continuously you are learning on new data. Over there training time is important, but in general training time is not important. More important is the inference time or the performance of the model.
So in a way, the computational complexity as well as the accuracy will increase.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So that's it all about the feature selection. So in the next lecture we'll talk about the feature extraction part. Okay.
So
Yeah.
sir, in this method, won't the stopping criteria change after every cycle, or will it remain one only for the entire process?
It will remain same, because you are saying your performance should be improved. So whatever the previous performance, you are compare with that.
Sir, but when the weights will retrain, sir, उस हिसाब से scale भी तो change हो जाएगा ना हर चीज का.
We are not talking about the scale here. So for example, the initial weight is giving some performance P%, or you can say accuracy of A1%, let's say, right? Now what in the next iteration we always want A2% will be higher or equal with the A1, right? Or you can say, let's say AT instead of CT, ET plus 1, right? So this, until this criteria will hold, we will continue the process, right? So once your like you can say AT is lesser than or equal to AT plus 1, then we will continue. Once this condition will be false, then we will stop over there. Getting?
Okay. Okay, sir.
So means you are comparing with the just previous one.
Okay, sir.
Sir, if it is equal to, then why to proceed for next iteration, sir? Means 8 is less than or equal to, right? If it is equal to, then why to proceed for next iteration?
No. What you are saying?
Yeah, 80 should be less than or equal to 80 plus 1. This criteria should be followed, then only we will
We'll move to the
repeat the
next.
procedure.
Yes. Because
So,
there is a possibility that might be one more feature removal will improve the performance. Because in this moment you are already maintaining the same performance or we are improving.
okay.
Got it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's it for today. So we'll talk about more details into the next lecture. Thank you guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.